Hey everyone, this is George Moore, owner of Moore's Sewing Center in Southern California. And for the next Sewing Tech Talk with Cathy Brown, I wanted Cathy to review the new Janome MemoryCraft 1000 sewing and embroidery machine, because this machine is so it has so much quality that you would normally find on a top model machine, but it's actually very reasonable. I mean, I love the way the embroidery mechanism is built in. We don't have to add anything. The color touch screen can access, I believe, 300 stitches, and it just has a high quality feel, and just the results you get is amazing. And that's why Cathy Brown, she's going to go over this machine. And you know Cathy, she just goes through a thorough demonstration of the products and gives you details, and you know, she's trusted across the country. So let's take it over to Cathy.
Okay, so now let's do a review of the MemoryCraft 1000 by Janome. This is a pretty sweet little machine. So I'd like to go through the machine and tell you, some of the neat features in the machine, and kind of let's figure out who this machine is good for. So I'm Cathy, and this is Sewing Tech Talk. We're going to review the Janome MemoryCraft 1000. Pretty sweet machine. Let's see if you like it. So this is the Janome MemoryCraft 1000. I'm going to review it today because, well, I think it fits kind of a niche for those of you out there who, well, let's just say that maybe you don't have a dedicated sewing room. Maybe you don't have the need for a much, much larger machine. And yet, you need a machine that's really going to respond to you, that's going to give you great sewing, and, well, it's kind of compact. So that's one thing I'm kind of excited about this machine, is not only the size of it, but because it's a combination embroidery and sewing machine, it has some pretty neat features that, more high-end machines have. If you're just into maybe sewing, or maybe you need a travel machine to go to class with, this one is, like I said, it's compact. This is the size of it. It's kind of the size of a standard sewing machine. Say you don't have a dedicated sewing room and you need to put your machine away. Well, this might work well for you, because I think it might fit on a shelf or maybe even in your closet. It's really less than 12 inches high and it's about 16 inches wide. Now, it is an embroidery machine as well as a sewing machine. Why do I think this would be a great machine to put away? Because the embroidery arm is attached to the back of the machine. You don't have a separate embroidery unit that you have to store. It is what it is. It also comes with a cover, and it's a pretty nice cover too. Now, this is what I would do. If I had this machine and I had to put it away, not only would I put the cover on, but I think I would make a special little, maybe like a little zipper pouch or something like that, to go in here to store some of the extra accessories. It does have an accessory storage in the front that holds most of the feet that come with the machine. But there's a few extra things that might be a little big and bulky for that. It also has a hoop that comes with it. It's a 5.5 by 5.5 sewing area. More about that later. So I don't know if I would sew on this really pretty cover, but I might make an interior cover, because I have a great sewing machine, that would hold that hoop, and the hoop would fit inside this area. So as you can see, you could put this machine all compactly together. It would be about yay, and it would fit, and when you take it out, you have everything that you need. So I think that would really work. Now, let's talk about a few of the features that are, really cool. This is kind of this is not the most inexpensive sewing machine that's out there. And I know some of you who are beginning to sew or just getting into sewing, well, a lot of people, when I work at shows, they say, I want a really inexpensive machine to start sewing. Here I'm going to get on my soapbox for just a bit. If you get one of those smaller machines, you do have a smaller investment, but you do have less of a machine. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and get the top of the line machine, or even the second to the top of the line machine. But a machine like this is going to be sturdy and give you quite a few features that's going to help you part way, especially if you're new to sewing. It's going to have features to, well, I call them beginner proof. We'll talk about those in a little bit. It's also sturdy. It does weigh 22 pounds. It's not super, super, super light. But imagine, well, say you're driving a lightweight car. You know wind's gonna blow you around. So a heavier machine is gonna give you more of a sturdy feeling. So I think if you're a beginning or a confident beginner as a sewer, a machine like this, yes, it's a little bit more of an investment, but I think that maybe it's gonna give you a better experience and keep you sewing a little bit longer. Let's go into the sewing features before we dive into embroidery. I have the machine set up right now to do, well, I've been testing the machine out. I have it set up to do some quilt piecing. This machine I think is good for not only quilt piecing, garment sewing, home decor. In fact, to test the garment sewing, I made a little dress for a special little someone. Yeah, it gave me the opportunity to try all kinds of things. Naturally seaming, I used the overlock stitch to finish off the seams. I used some invisible thread to see how the machine tolerated that. I sewed on some trim. I sewed through some bulky areas. So it performed well when I made a little dress. I think it performed well for a big girl dress too. Now in quilt piecing, I have this machine set up with a 1/4 inch foot that comes with the machine. There's a variety of feet that come with the machine for doing your, sewing specialty stitches. So when I pick a stitch, I'm on quilt piecing right now. You can see it says quilt up here in the screen. It's not the largest screen in the whole world. The screen that changes is right here, and you do have some controls down here. When I change to a different stitch, I simply use these buttons here, and you can see it's going to choose the first stitch in that screen. It's a touch screen, so if I did want to do this stitch, I just have to touch it. So it's pretty easy to select your stitch. If I want to go just to the beginning screen, I have a quick access to go there as well. And there's my basic, well, those are my basic utility type stitches. Notice when I pick a stitch, let's go to the next screen over, I pick a stitch and it wants C foot. It's going to tell me the foot, and it's automatically going to tell me the stitches or the stitch length that I need for this specific function. Yes, I can change the width of the stitch. Yes, I can change the length of the stitch, and it's going to show me on the screen exactly what I've changed. See, that's why I think it's a good machine for those who are beginning. It's not like a machine where you're turning a dial and hoping you got the right stitch for the function. What you see is kind of what you get. So let's go back to piecing. I'm going to go back to decorative. There's quilting right there, and it can take me directly to that. So it's easy to navigate all the different functions. If I wanted to combine stitches, I can do that easily as well. Let's go to maybe a decorative stitch. When I touch this button up here, I have the ability to combine stitches. Yes, I think I made the world's ugliest decorative stitch. I can also see that stitch up close. If I have up to 100 characters that I want to combine, why would you do that? Well, you have a built-in sewing alphabet as well. If you wanted to put a name or a quilt label and do that in regular stitching, you can. If I wanted to memorize this stitch, I could, and I have the ability to save the stitch as well. So I can do some modification of these decorative stitches. There's my alphabet right there, and you have all carrying the different scripts. Remember, this is in sewing. When we get to embroidery, we have more choices as well. So let me go back to that piecing. Pretty easy to go. Now when I pick that piecing, look, I have this up here. I really don't want that. I'm still in the combination of the stitches. So I'm going to go delete, 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 come back here, and I'm back to my regular quilt piecing as well. It takes a little tiny bit to figure out where you are in the little menu. It comes with a really nice book. I like the manual. It's pretty beefy. And it also shows you the little thing that fits right here in the beginning, which is kind of cool. Stitch reference chart. There's a special spot for that. You can go through that and you can see all the different stitches. But here's what I think is really cool. You come to the end of it, you have a QR code. And what is that for? Well, you can take your mobile device, go to the QR code, and it brings up 20 different videos on how to use the machine. So not only do you have a great book for your learning how to use the machine, in fact, in the utility stitches, it has for all the different ones, it's a whole page for just each one of the different functions, like doing a blind hem or a zipper or something like that. But you can also bring up the videos just by going to the QR code in this little guy that fits right in the front of your machine. You also have a QR code that's built in to the help screen. So you scan that, it takes you directly to the Janome website. Not only shows you all the different stitches in a stitch chart, there's those videos again, but it also shows you all the different built-in embroidery designs. So I think that's pretty cool. We're going to go home. Now, when it comes to sewing, like I said, I think it's a pretty sturdy machine. I'm set up for 1/4 inch piecing. So, as I sew, I have special features built into the top of the machine too. I have an automatic lock stitch. My needle is stayed down. I can tell it to come up with a touch of a button. And I can also program the machine in settings to say I want the needle to end and finish in the up position. And you can easily change that back and forth. I have scissors. So when I need to clip my threads, I simply touch the scissors and it clips the threads. You get really used to that feature. This is reverse. This is start stop. This is used in embroidery for sure, but in sewing I can use that to make the machine go if I don't want to use my foot pedal all the time. The machine even has a function where I'm doing a zigzag stitch and I want to vary the width of the stitch while I'm sewing. Stitch width change on the go. So I go in the settings, I ask for that, I press the start stop button, and by pressing the foot pedal hard or soft, I can change the width of the zigzag. That's a pretty cool feature, I think. Now, this here is the top speed of the machine. If I want to sew slow, if I'm doing something I really want to, do precision, I can tell the machine, don't go very fast when I press the foot pedal all the way. Now the top speed of this machine in sewing is, and I wrote myself some notes, the top speed in sewing is 860 stitches a minute. When you're doing a zigzag, the top speed at maximum width is 700 stitches a minute. So you can tell the machine I want to go a little bit slower than that. When you're going full out, that's how fast you're going to be going. I find that when I'm sewing, doing my piecing, I'm finding that it's pulling true and straight. See, I've asked it to go slow. Let's kick some stitch. Pretty neat. Now this machine comes with a straight stitch needle plate. That's what I'm saying. It comes with some pretty neat stuff. If you're getting a less expensive machine, you may not have these options available. They're certainly not going to come with the machine. This is the straight stitch needle plate. I like it because it has 2 small openings. Have you ever started to sew, and as you start to sew, the fabric gets pulled down into the feed dogs area, gets pulled down through there, and the needle will jam it through? Well, the solution to that is generally a straight stitch plate. Let's see how this works. I'm going to hit the scissors, I'm going to clip my threads, lift my presser foot. Now, this is a magnetic needle plate. What does that mean to you? You get a screwdriver, but the screwdriver is for popping the needle plate off. So I'm going to tell the machine, I'm going to lock this so it's not going to come down and, pierce my finger. I simply do this, and the needle plate comes off. Notice the machine is telling me the needle plate is not on there. Isn't that cool? It has some features that if I'm new to sewing, that it's going to remind me and help me that I don't make an error. So let's put the new one on. It simply snaps on in. Oops, where's my presser foot? And it snaps on in, and the machine's going to remind me, make sure you have the proper presser foot attached and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, let's unlock that machine and we're good to go. Now, here's what I wanted to tell you about, beginner, right? So I have this presser foot, I have this needle plate on. It only has those 2 holes. Can I do a zigzag? No, but the machine knows that. And look, it's grayed out any of the stitches that I cannot do. It knows that I can't do them. So I can't accidentally pick a stitch and break a needle. So I like that feature a lot. The machine really helps me, know what I've done. It's also the midnight special if you're a more confident sewer. So I can't do anything but the stitches that are selected. Notice I can't even go to any of these kind of stitches here, and it just won't let me do that. Now, because it has that single hole down there, it's really going to support the fabric when I'm making a stitch. And I've done some piecing, and I really am pleased with the stitch. I've done different threads as well, and those worked out pretty good. Let's see, is there anything else in sewing? Well, I have a lot of, one more thing. There's optional accessories available for this machine, and there's one I would really kind of like to have. When you're lifting and lowering the presser foot, you're using this lever here on the inside. Sometimes I like to keep all hands on deck, so there's an optional knee lever that you can get for the machine. And that knee lever would raise and lower the presser foot so that you can keep all hands on deck. And you can raise that foot, do all kinds of fun stuff for adjusting that you need to do, and then when you let the lever go, it's going to lower that presser foot again. That's an optional accessory I think I would really like to have in sewing, especially when I'm doing my quilt piecing. I think that would be really helpful. So I think that's pretty much it. Oh, it's a free arm machine. That'll come in handy a little bit later. And I'm going to take off the free arm, and guess what? This is where the needle plate stores. Just like that. Remember, this machine can be totally compact and everything, well, you can store everything in the one spot. And if you have to take it out, you don't have to be looking around for all the different accessories everywhere. Pretty neat, right? Let's talk about embroidery. Okay, so when I do shows and I speak to beginning curious embroiderers, they usually think, oh my gosh, it sounds so hard. Well, maybe I don't think so because I've been doing it for a while. So let's just talk about the process, this machine, how you're going to do an embroidery. I think it's pretty straightforward. So first of all, I switched the machine over. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to open up that back embroidery arm on this machine. Remember, it doesn't have a separate unit that you have to install. All you have to do is click the lever, open up the arm. You go into the machine, you go into sewing and/or embroidery. So it's set up for sewing here, but I touch this and the machine's automatically going to set it up for embroidery and bring up the embroidery screen where you access everything. Now you need to embroider on something, right? So this is the hoop that comes with the machine. It's a 5.5 by 5.5 hoop. And if I want to place a design specifically, I have this grid to help me. Basically, you can draw a crosshair right where you want your embroidery to be, if it's super important. And then you hoop the fabric up, click the little lever, make sure it's nice and secure in there, and then it's in the hoop, it's ready to go. When we do embroidery on fabric, we use a stabilizer. And there's different stabilizers for, you know, different kind of styles of embroidery. What I like about this machine and the built-in embroidery designs is that there's a variety of different designs that kind of give you a taste of all the fun different things you can do with embroidery. There's some in the hoop designs where you can make like a little rattle or luggage tags. There's fringe designs where the threads stick on up. There's a whole page in the instruction book to tell you how to do that. There's also like some pinned flags. It's a project to show you how to do that. It even has built-in lace. You make lace on a water-soluble stabilizer. When you wash the stabilizer away, then you have this beautiful lace medallion. And you can have it in any color or any type of fiber that you want. It just depends on the thread that you put in the machine. So this machine has a taste of all those different styles of embroidery. You also can bring in designs off a USB stick. And sometimes when you buy a design pack in the store, you'll get it already put on a USB stick. If you buy them online, and there are tons of them online, you download them to your computer and put it on a USB stick and stick that stick into your machine, and that's how you transfer a design from your computer to the machine. Now, the machine comes with special things for embroidery. It comes with a special bobbin case. Remember how I changed that plate? Well, when you change the plate, you can take the bobbin case out and change it. In fact, you should every once in a while do that, and the machine will remind you every 10 hours of sewing that you should take it out, and maybe you should do a little cleanup in there as well. That's built into the machine as well. So when I come into embroidery, it's going to tell me how I want to be set up. Oh, and Janome even included a special blue tip needle that they have designed specifically for embroidery. It's included with the machine. So I put that in, and I put the embroidery foot on the machine. Now I'm going to take the hoop, I'm going to slide it underneath the foot, and I'm just going to attach it into the back. And turn the lever to click it into place. Now, here's the fun part. We need to choose our design. There's built-in designs into the machine, like I said. There are also built-in fonts. So, where do I find those? Well, this is the home screen for embroidery. This is where the designs in the machine live. This is where the different fonts are. And this is where I can edit different designs. So if I touch this, I can explore all the different type of designs that are built into the machine. And I could kind of toggle through those to see exactly what I want. Let's just pick a flower. So I touch that, I see a flower I like, and I touch it. So when I say OK, it reminds me of the hoop that I have selected. I'll show you that in a little bit. And I say OK. It tells me to adjust the thread tension dial. That's up here. And it reminds me to go to 3. And I'm going to say, I did that. I'm going to close that out. If you look at the screen, it shows me that I want foot P. And it kind of gives me a look of what foot P is. That's for embroidery. And it reminds me that I also want to adjust the tension up here to 2. That's the pressure. And I can adjust that in sewing as well if I need to be working on delicate fabrics or hard to handle fabrics. But in embroidery, we want it to be at 2. And it's going to show me all the different colors that I'm going to do in this design. How does embroidery work in a machine? It's going to do one color at a time. It's going to stop and then ask you for the next color. And we're going to thread the machine. The machine's super easy to thread. It simply comes through here. When you come down here, and this is a pretty cool part, you slide the thread here, push down that lever, and it threads the needle just like that. If that's confusing, if the threading part is confusing, where did I put it? They give you a sticker that you can put on the machine right here, and it shows you the step-by-step for threading the machine in case you need it. Okay, now I have my little flower. What if I want to put something else into it or have more than one flower? Well, remember I had that edit feature. So when I touch the home key, I can go to edit, and it shows me my little flower right in the middle of this hoop. Now, if I want to move it, I just touch it and I move it where I want to touch it, right? Pretty easy. If I want more than one, I can duplicate it. And now I have more than one. I don't want more than one. I can delete that one. If I want to make this larger or smaller, I can. Okay. If I have other things I want to do, I want to mirror image it that way or flip it, flop it that way. I want to rotate it. Hold on, I want to rotate it. I can go 45 degrees at a time. Okay. It's easy to manipulate the designs is what I'm trying to show you. I can even come in and I can do multiples. Say I want to do multiples in all different 4 corners. I just touch a button. I want this one to go in the middle. I touch that. Now, I have 4 different designs on there, right? This is what's so cool. I can actually group them all and have them all in the one spot, or not. But what happens if, say I want to put a flower on top of a word? Would that be easy to do? Yeah. So I'm in Edit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come home. I'm going to touch my little, icon for the letters, and I'm going to put C. Well, let's do small. Let's see. Let's do lowercase a, T, H, and I need my Y. There it is. We're going to go Cathy, because that's my name. Okay, there it is. Now, there's my Cathy, right? If I put my Cathy right here, and I want the flower to be right on top of that C, well, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to have the C on top of it. But I can change the sewing order. I can come and bring in designs at any time I want and then change how they sew out, the order that they sew out. That's easy. I go here, I touch that. I touch the way I want them to sew. I want Cathy, then I want this flower, 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 and I've just changed the sewing order. Notice I have different colors all over with those different colored flowers. I don't want to change threads that many times. I can come in and I can say, I want you to group those colors together, and I want you to sew all the reds or all the greens or all the stems or all the whatever. Okay, and then I can save myself time. So these are some kind of advanced features. On a machine like this, you generally wouldn't expect that. But we have it on the Memory Craft 1000. Now, I did a lot of messing around, but what if I just wanted to sew something, right? If I just wanted to embroider something, all I had to do was select it, bring it on in, thread my needle, put in the first color, and, oh, I didn't lower the presser foot. See, it knows what I need to do and reminds me. So embroidery is pretty easy. I just press the button, and now I'm embroidering. Pretty neat, right? So I think this machine is a great sewing embroidery combination machine. It's not the biggest, not the smallest, but it's actually pretty user-friendly for those of you who need a machine that really is going to grow with you and get you started. So I'm going to let George tell you a little bit more about this machine. Thanks for watching me, and not a bad little machine.
Thanks, Cathy. That was wonderful, and we have a very special buy on the machine. The Memory Craft 1000 has a regular retail price of $16.99, and that alone, for the sewing machine part of it or the embroidery part, is worth it. But it's on sale for $1,399. We have interest-free payments as well as free shipping across the country. They also have the Memory Craft 100E, that's embroidery only, all the embroidery features, and that is on sale for $10.99. But there's a special bonus I've been able to get for a limited time. I've got that right here, and this is the Embroider Starter Kit, okay? And so this has a $499 value, and let's open this up and see what comes with this. Okay, so what we have here, we've got the Embroider Starter Kit. Let's open it up and see what's involved with this. So it's kind of like a Christmas gift. So this has a $499 value, so let's see what's inside here. First of all, we have 2 rolls of stabilizers. So that's cutaway stabilizer, it's 3 yards, and then tearaway stabilizer. So that's cool. Put that aside. And then we've got pre-wound Janome bobbins. Can always have that. Need lots of that. We also have some bobbins you can wind yourself. I believe there are 20. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25 bobbins. I can count that. All right. Then we have iris thread. This is beautiful thread. It's very silky thread, and so that's I believe 12 spools. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 12 spools of thread. We got instructions on how to use a stabilizer. Then we have this on a USB. Oops, on this USB is 1,800 different, actually over 1,800 embroidery designs. Okay, so that's amazing. So all that is included for a limited time. Okay, so again, this special bonus is included with the MemoryCraft MC1000 and the MC100E for a limited time. I only was able to get authorization from Janome to offer this during a certain window, but also when I sell out, I can't order these here. So click on the link to order. You can call us at 1-800-865-9664 or email us at customerservice@moores-so.com.